Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we are launching our second series on the channel, and that is 20 card Pokemon Tuesdays. So it's going to be cards that are $20 and under. There might be a few that are just over 20. That's because, I mean, with the way that the market is right now, it's just crazy and things are just, it's almost hard to keep up in a sense. I mean, I made this list couple days ago, and there's 8 cards that already jumped out of the $20 mark. So we're going to be kind of right on the edge there. As you can see, the first one is from Scarlet and Violet. We are doing the Caradion, just because, I mean, it is kind of the beginning of the SIR, the alternate R with the silver borders. Scarlet and Violet is going to keep going up. We'll just put it that way. It's one of those sets where people are kind of sleeping on it a little too much. I know it was kind of overproduced, but in my opinion, both Kraydon and Miraidon, both of them, which this one, I think this one might have just crept over. Nope, it's still around, right around that $20 mark. But yeah, I mean, those would be the two out of Scarlet right away that I would pick up. I mean, I kind of like Miraidon a little bit more than Kraydon. Although, I mean, they're both good. But then that's really it out of Scarlet and Violet. Now we're moving into Paldea. There's only a few out of Paldea. The one I would say trainer wise would be Grisha. I have a feeling she will start to rise even higher and higher. I mean, you can see in the last 6 months, it's already it's already surpassed what it was when it first came out. I think we're still right around midpoint, so 14-ish. Let's see, 11, 18. That's an outlier. Not looking at that. 15. Yeah, I would say between 13 and 14. Plus, it's a beautiful artwork, especially if you're in the northern part of, well, the U.S. where I'm at. A lot of snow. But then the second one out of Paldea is a Chin Pao. And I have a feeling this is one of the ones. That one still is right on the cusp. You could probably still get it for 20. There's a lot of sales that are just over, and there's a lot of sales that are just under. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as SIRs go, in my opinion, it's one of the better ones, better looking ones. Um, and I have a feeling it's just going to keep going up. I know it's playable. Um, it hasn't hit as high as when it first released. Let's see. Oh, actually, it is higher than it first released. So about a year ago. So this part right here is when it was really playable, around the 28. It's starting to kind of teeter off. I still think it's going to keep kind of going up. That's just me. Um, I've been wrong before. And the next one is the Heracross from Paldea. This is another card. If you can, send it in for grading. It is one of the harder cards to grade, and it is ridiculous the amount that people are paying for it. Again, I mean, that one even shot up too. I mean, we're at 17, 16, 17, 18. I would probably put it around the 18 mark, maybe average 18, 19. But again, it's another beautiful card for Heracross. Um, yeah, I can't wait for the newer sets to come. And this is one that I think people are sleeping on. Sizer. Market price, I think, is around 11. Yeah, it's right around the 10, 11 mark. The only other one that's coming out of Obsidian Flames, obviously, it's all the Charizards. We all know that. Those are all up over 20, except for the regular full art and the EX. I think the gold and the SIR are now above that. SIR, I want to say, is 70. The gold is around 25, 30. The full art is pushing up there too. Actually, the full art might be around 25 now. Who knows? Um, but yeah, the other cards from Obsidian Flames, I would say Sizer is one. I mean, it's a beautiful artwork. And then everybody else's favorite, Ninetales, which when I created the list, Ninetales was right at 20. And it was another one of those cards where if you can get it graded, get it graded. Um, I don't know why it's not letting me expand. But yeah, it just hit over that mark. 6 months. I mean, look at that growth. There is a small dip. I know average right now is probably, I would say 22 ish, 22 to 24. So you could probably still get it around. See, that's all Japanese, all Japanese. I mean, you get some guys that they're just trying to get their name out there, so you can get lower cards like that. But yeah, I think you could still get around 20, but this is one of the most beautiful cards in the set. That one, the Sizer, and then my next favorite one, Gloom. What is this? Oh, that's okay. Gloom. This is just one of the things for me. It's one of my cards that I like to put out there. But I mean, for me, those are the top four that I would pick out of Obsidian Flames. It's sitting right around that $14 mark. Probably can get it as low as 12, 11. And that's another one of the cards where I would send it and get graded. I don't know. Gloom has always been one of the things for me. The whole lineup: Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume. But yeah, that's one of my sleeper ones. And then there was only two. Now technically there's only one. Tapu Koko is one of the only ones that I would probably pick up right now under 20. It's one of the last SIRs. I mean, I want to say Iron Hands you can still get under 20, but that's because it's playable. I think in general, Paradox Rift is a slept down set. I did have Steelix, but within the last couple of days, Steelix has already gone up to, I think, 26, 30, 26 to $30, somewhere in between there. Um, but yeah, one of my sleeper picks would be Tapu Koko. And then obviously we have two 151s. I was thinking about Poliwhirl 2, which you could throw it in there, but I think Psyduck and Machoke. Machoke for sure is really slept on, and I think Psyduck I would pick up a few if you can. Um, and even that, I mean, it's still, that one just crept over as well. It was around the $20 mark, and now it's up over, I would say it's probably on average 22, 23. But you'll find the oddities where you can get it at 20 still. I think with the blooming waters coming out, we might see a small dip here. But I mean, look at that growth in 6 months. Look at that growth in a year. But yeah, I think this is one of the ones that will grow. Same thing with Machoke. It's a beautiful artwork, and people just don't pay it any attention. And it's finally getting the growth that it deserves. I mean, for the longest time, you could pick them up for $5, $6. I wouldn't go too crazy with Choke. Maybe a couple extra copies if you're able to, or hold on to two, three of them for the longer run. Definitely, if you can, send them in to get graded. It's another one of those cards where it's just full card. It's going to be hard. I just love the way that they have Machoke doing so many different things. You got Pidgey in there, you got Meowth in there. To me, it's a slept down beautiful card from 151. Um, Paldean Fates, it's hard. I think realistically, it's just Penny. Penny is the only one. Like I mentioned, my $50 lower one with Pikachu being in there. You could possibly do Snorlax. I think Snorlax is just under 20 or right around 20. But I think Penny is a good solid bet to pick up too. It's another one of those cards that it's finally creeping around to where it was when it first came out. Huge dip, dropped around 8. I mean, I know huge things with the Umbreon. That's a reason why there's a huge jump. But just in general, Paldean Fates, it's a collection set. You're not really finding much out there anymore on the shelves, so it's going to keep going up. Um, I mean, it's to me, it's just a really beautiful card too. I like how it was created and made. Um, Moving into temporal forces, Metagross, another I think slept on card. This one has shot up a lot. You can still get it under 20, which is huge. I remember when this went from I think like a $5 card to a $12 card, and now it's already doubled again. I mean, look at that. When it first came out, 13, and now we're pushing 20-ish on average. It's a huge growth within, what has it been? Temporal came out. When did Temporal came? Oh, I got those down there. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of growth for that one. Again, it's another beautiful card. A few Metagrosses in there. A few playing with the snow. It's just a very well done card, honestly. Next one. As much as I do not like Arbok, especially the way that they have done Arbok's cards, this honestly is probably one of the cooler Arbok cards I've seen in a very long time, and it's another slept on card. Especially coming out of Temporal Forces, there's not too many crazy cards in there. I mean, you either have the very high end or the very low end. There's not really many in the middle, kind of like what you get with Paradox. Paradox, there's a lot of cards from like I would say that 10 to $25 range, but with the market jumping up, it's probably more like 15 to $30 range. But yeah, Arbok, especially with Team Rocket coming out, I would pick up a lot of Team Rocket Pokemon in a sense, especially this Arbok card, the way that it's kind of drawn out like a cartoon, it just brings back anime vibes for it. In all honesty, it really does. I mean, again, it's one of those cards where it's pushing that $20 mark. I mean, you can find some that are under 20. I'm guessing if you're at a card show, you could probably get it around 20. Um, but yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the ones that I would. And the last one for Temporal, I think, yeah, because the other one's Twilight, is Iron Boulder. There's not too many SIRs that you can get now from Temporal under 20. And it's right there, right at 20. I know it's probably one of the easier ones to pull, and that's why it's so low. But it's starting to creep up to where it came out. 31, we're at about 20. It's still down $12 over a year. But also, you got to remember, I would go more towards this $26. That's more an average of what it would be. We're at 2021. It's going to keep going up, especially with Temporal not being out there anymore. Well, I shouldn't say out there anymore, but harder to find. Realistically, everything's just hard to find nowadays. But yeah, I think it's just hit or miss because a lot of people don't like the ancient and future. Um, I know with Iron Boulder, I'm trying to think. Uh, I'm forgetting now. But yeah, I think that's the main reason why people aren't too fond of it. I mean, I still think it's a cool artwork. Not one of my favorites out of it, but still would pick it up, especially with an SIR. There's being four of them, being relatively cheap. I would grab it for the long haul. Not too many, maybe one or two. And people are gonna, I don't know. People are probably gonna make fun of me for this one. Pinsir is another sweet one. It's one of those sleeper ones, kind of like Gloom, kind of like what's my other one, Sizer, kind of like. Why am I drawing a blank now? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Heracross. That's what it was. It's similar to the Heracross one. I kind of like it because it's more that cartoonish anime vibes. But I know it's another card in PSA 10 people are looking and going crazy for. This is my sleeper pick for Twilight. I want to say I have about 4 or 5 realistically, and those are the ones that are kind of around the $10 to $15, well, $10 to $12 mark. Those are my real sleeper picks. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're under 10. Under 10. I think it's one that's going to keep going up. I mean, you got to think of it kind of like Paldea evolved, how the carp was one of those undervalued cards for the longest run, and now it's one of the highest value. I mean, look at this. Over a year. It started off at 10, now we're back to 10. I think it's going to be one of those ones that just kind of keep going up, especially with quality issues as being center and Chansey. Last one from, or no, second to last one from Twilight. Chansey, I think, is another one, which, again, this one's way too high. I didn't realize it hit 30 again. At the time that I did this, I wanted to say it was around, what do I have? No, I mean, at the time that I did this list, let's see if I can get there. No, it's always been that high, I guess, yeah. I don't remember why I put that on there then, unless if that was meant to be under my 50. Maybe. That one might have been under my 50, but still. Nonetheless, it's a sweet one. I mean, you're looking at beautiful artwork of Psyduck, Bellsprout, Ditto, Snorlax. Another amazing card. Um, we're coming down to it here. Lana Aid. It's kind of hard. Lana's Aid, maybe I wouldn't go too crazy. Maybe if you grab an extra one, um, it's right around that 20 to, yeah, it's a little higher now. It's around the $24 mark. Um, but I want to get into the last three here. So the only one from Shrouded, in my opinion, is gonna be Zorora. This is one of the most, to me, one of the most beautiful artworks, other than the other ones in my $50 video. But I mean, you're sitting right, I would say, at about 18, 17, 18 comfortably for a near main copy. But yeah, I just love this artwork. That's gonna be my pick when I'm on the tables, when I'm looking, when I got people coming up buying, selling. It's definitely the one that I'm looking for. Sorry about that. I noticed that my battery's about to die. I thought I had enough percentage on it, but apparently not. Um, so last couple from Stellar Crown. Really, it's just Briar. I know people aren't too crazy about putting in money in for trainers. I would get rid of these 25s. I would say comfortably it's still a $20 card. Um, Obviously, this is just because they came out not too long ago, probably what, September-ish, yeah. Yeah, late August, early September. Obviously, SIR is going to be that. So I would say 27, 29 is the mark that we're looking for to get back up to. Um, but I mean, it's a special illustration rare. I think it's going to be a comfortably $30 to $40 card in the next couple of months. That's just my opinion. I mean, I've been wrong before. I know trainers don't do as well here like they do for Japanese. But last one, Mess Spirit. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just a beautiful card. And in Surging Sparks, it's their prices are ridiculous. I mean, you got a couple hundred for like 6 cards. You got 60 to 100 on a couple other cards, and then you have very low end. So for me, I think Meta Spirit for the long run is going to keep going up. I think this is going to be your Groudon, your Tyranitar, your Raichu out of, Paldea, out of Paradox, out of, this is going to be your Steelix out of Paradox, your Raichu out of Paldea, your Tyranitar, your Groudon out of Paradox. That's what Meta Spirit's going to be, especially for the long run. Um, I mean, look at that. It started off as a $7 card, and it just kept going up and up and up. Um, I know I just recently picked up 2 or 3 of these, and I'll probably pick up a couple more. I wouldn't go too crazy. Again, um, being at what it is right now, maybe 5 if you're trying to go for a long run. Obviously, if you don't have that much, 2 3, 2 3 is definitely a good hold. If you can get it in a 10, even better. Um, let's see, 2020. Yeah, I mean, it already hit 20, and I just bought 2 of them for 13 last weekend. It's insane. Anyways, this market's just been crazy. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week for the Scarlet and Violet era. Join back next Tuesday. We're going to end up hitting up Sword and Shield, which is probably going to be even harder with this market. Then we'll hit up Sun and Moon, kind of work our way back, and then revisit some of these other ones here in a month or two and see where we're at. But yeah, till next time.